Oh my gosh. This is so boring. You call this a race? Oh, that's better.
Get ready!
I love going to used game stores. Not only do they have a lot of older consoles for me to look at and someday hopefully hope to buy one day, but I can usually find a lot of interesting titles for really cheap. Sometimes I even find things I've never heard of, like this game, RC to Go. After doing some research, I found out this game started out as an arcade game by Taito. Then it was ported to the PS1 by D3 Publishing as part of their Simple 1500 series of budget games under the title The RC Car. So, clearly they were the creative type. And then that port was localized by Acclaim and released over here in November of 2000. That's all the information I could find. Supposedly it had almost no advertisement or hype. It just sort of came out, which makes sense considering when it was brought over here, it still is technically a budget title. Even when I picked it up at the store, the cover didn't really grab me. It's just this weirdly rendered three-dimensional RC car placed on a picture of what I assumed was the in-game graphics. Then I looked at the back, saw a cute anime girl, and now it's in my collection. So was this game worth more than what people paid for it at the turn of the century, or should it be forgotten as cheap shovelware, like 50% of the Wii's library? Long story short, this game was and still is worth the money. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Even the opening sequence is pretty interesting, with this short video of real RC racing in Japan. Is this really such a big hobby there? It must be, because a Japanese RC car company actually oversaw development of this game. What's interesting is the game's title translates to Go Buy RC. And if you ask me, that's pretty forceful, game. First off, which one is even yours? The Red Sea? The Caspian Sea? The Sea of Japan, probably? Do you have any idea how much one of those would cost? What would I even do with a sea? Once I got past the game's rather pushy sales pitch, which, come on, that's the freaking title of the game, how forceful can you be? I get to the menu. As you can see, there are a few different modes to play through. Practice is a handful of mini games showing how the controls work, and then it puts you in a short race. Time trial it's a time trial. Just pick a track and try to beat the time. Next is quick race. This one is just kind of annoying. The goal is to go through 4 races with a basic RC car. You can choose from balance, handling, acceleration, or speed, and I tried acceleration. Yeah, it didn't really work. It sounds easy, but each option they give you is so slow. Even the one that supposedly specializes in speed can't go fast enough to beat the second race within the time limit, and I ran that race pretty well. How is this the fastest car offered in this mode? I've seen cheap wind-up toys go faster than this. But none of those modes really matter because the real meat of this game is in championship mode, where I take on all comers to be crowned the ultimate RC racing champ. Like some really lame Saturday morning anime you'd watch as a kid, and then you go back and watch it and you're like, yeah, that's kind of stupid. But this isn't stupid because there's an epic storyline that really took me by surprise.
Now, here is the Teacup Open, which is the biggest event in RC racing. It's a long road ahead of you to become the RC champion. To become the champion and win all races, you must learn RC control techniques, tune-up techniques, and you must power up. There are a total of 14 on-road and off-road courses. If you become the champion of all 14 courses, you'll be honored as the RC champion. Now, the fastest speed competition begins. Let's go by RC!
Wow. Hey, wait, you already own it. Why would you buy it again? Make up your mind. After that undeniably epic masterpiece of interactive literature, I get to choose a starting car. I picked acceleration because I don't know. Then I picked a body and headed off to the races. First track is the best place to start, so I guess I'll pick that and go get... Oh, wow. That was really fast. Also, wow, the graphics look really nice and the sound design is pretty good too. Alright, let's do this! Oh. So, the car starts out really slow, which, I mean, makes sense. Championship mode works the same way as something like Gran Turismo, but scaled down. It's more of a simulation than an arcadey racing game, and there are a lot of things that make it feel authentic. Instead of racing from the perspective of the car itself, like in games like RC Revenge Pro or even Revolt, which I can't record for you because I don't have them, it's presented as if the player is an actual RC racer controlling it with a remote. A remote controller, if you will. That's what the controls are set up like too. The controls are designed to mimic an actual remote controller using both analog sticks of the DualShock controller. I promise I'm not doing this on purpose. Here's how it works. Left stick controls acceleration and brakes, and the right stick is for steering. You can also make the car dash for a bit by tapping either L1 or R1, and you can even knock other cars out of the way, which is kind of fun. And that's it. That's seriously all the controls. Simple and straightforward like the rest of this game. Like I said earlier, the championship mode is essentially like a scaled down Gran Turismo game, where the only goal is to win all the races. Your car starts out slow and weak, but by winning races and earning currency, you can go to the shop and buy new parts. A lot of parts. I didn't bother counting them. Each new part I got felt like it really made a difference to how my car performed, which, you know, that's probably a good sign. The physics are also pretty on point. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's like the car feels like it has a real weight to it while speeding up or turning corners. At least I think so. Then again, I've never actually raced an RC car, so what do I know? Well, I do know this game looks pretty good. Maybe it's because the tracks are small, but the whole game is detailed really well and the cars are modeled, you know, pretty accurately for the time. It looks nice. If you've ever played old racing games from this generation, like Ridge Racer or even Gran Turismo, especially on the PlayStation, then you know how they have the world construct around you while you're driving, and it always looks super weird. That doesn't happen in this game, since everything is much smaller and, again, scaled down. I love all the little details that went into the presentation, like the antenna on the cars leaning to one side when you turn, or the skid marks when I boost. It's little touches like that that really make this game fun to play. Also, I think that's cute. I find that cute. I don't know why. Going through each race, I unlock more credits to upgrade my car to win more races. There are 6 tracks for on-road and off-road, with 2 special tracks unlocked after winning the other 12. After winning both tracks of the same number, you unlock special body parts, like this ambulance. Aw, that's cute. Okay, maybe it's not so cute. Each track is unique, with more features being added the further I got. Okay, so it's really just small jumps and more challenging turns, but they still have a nice variety. They also change up the seasons on the off-road tracks, like the snow course. My personal favorite is the 3rd off-road track, which is decorated with cherry blossom trees and petals covering the road. It's so pretty. Oh hey, I got another body part. I wonder what it is. You know what this means. So that's pretty much all this mode is about. I raced around well-rendered and well-designed tracks with great controls. The physics make an absolute joy to use. The races did get harder as I went on, so memorizing each turn and knowing the right times to boost felt the same as in a normal racing game. It was rewarding and fun to go through, and I unlocked more cool parts. And then Freighter Harbor happened. This is the 6th on-road track and the final one I needed to beat before unlocking the final 2 races. While 1 or 2 tracks before this took me a few tries to get right, along with getting better parts, I spent, no joke, over 3 hours trying to beat this one track. I went on for at least an hour using this snazzy red body I unlocked before I switched back to this smaller pink one that I also had. It actually helped a bit since the body was smaller, and I even figured out how to improve my turns by stopping acceleration. But that doesn't help because look at the freaking track! It is ridiculous how many turns there are. I tried for hours and came close several times, but then it just got really annoying, so I didn't finish it. That's it. And I couldn't even get better parts because at this point I had already bought all the best parts in each type and all the extra parts, so my stats were as high as I could get them. I guess that's kind of a problem. There's no specialization, just go buy the best of each part. And that's kind of it. After trying for 3 days, an hour each day, I decided to stop because it just felt... what's the word? I guess I'm not the ultimate RC racing champion. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry! Ah! Even knowing that, RC To Go is still a pretty neat game for what it is. The controls are great, the tracks are fun, except for freaking Freighter Harbor. The graphics are pretty good, and while there isn't really much content, what's in here is, pretty good. Honestly, it's hard to believe this was a budget game sometimes. But that's what it is, a good budget racing game that, while it doesn't have as much content as other racing games today, or heck, even on the system, it's certainly good for a few hours. Only a few hours though, since guess what? It doesn't have any multiplayer! I don't think I need to explain why that's not a good thing, but I don't have anyone to play with anyway. So, yeah. If you're like me and find this at a retro game store for, I don't know, like $5, give it a try. I would not call this game a hidden gem, but it's certainly close, and, that's enough for me. There really isn't much I can say about this game. It's just something neat that I wanted to talk about. And counting up all the time I spent on it, minus 3 hours for that same freaking track, it only lasted just over 2 hours. Well, that's really all I have to say this time. Thanks so much for watching. Whoever you are, I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.